Hi, everybody. It's Dawn coming to you with another episode of Out of the Spiritual Closet with Dawn and Spirit. And today I am joined with a guest from our fun event, PODAPOOLOZA. PODAPOOLOZA. One of our featured guests from the day, Katja Lowry, and she'll pronounce her name properly in a second, is with me today. And she is an awesome human who is basically targeting helping women in crisis, 45-year-old women in midlife crisis. And so at this point in her life, she is older and wiser, and she wants to help anybody out there that might still feel like a victim or have issues around codependency, and to help them to understand why they're being too hard on themselves. She is a spiritual guide who helps wise women break the bonds of their lineage to become a sacred disruptor. And you are in the right place for that. Getting rid of old patterns, standing up against patterns of abuse, and now living the best time of her life. So welcome, Katja.
Thank you so much, Dawn, for the introduction. And you did get the name a little bit wrong. It's not Larry with an R, it's with an N, Lany.
Lany. Okay.
But
But
it's all
say your
good.
whole name again for the audience.
Katja Lany. And Katja is actually the name that I received from my parents. And I love that name a lot. I looked up its meaning and I found out it means the pure one. So that resonated a lot with me. And Soria, the middle name that you're seeing here, that's the name that I got from my spiritual mentors. And that name means the sun being, and it's pointing to that fiery nature of me. And when I was tuning into why did I end up receiving that name, at some point, what came to me is that, like the sun, I have those two abilities within myself. I can be that one who is burning others, or in my case, often self, through that harsh inner voice that people use in their self-sabotage pattern. And it's just so violent in the self-sabotage. But then there is also this more positive side to it, where I can, just like the sun, be life-giving in my nature. And of course, that's a beautiful shift to make from those rather lower frequencies of self-sabotage to the higher frequencies of giving life. And that is also what motivated me to call myself a joie de vivre energy worker, because in the energy work that I'm doing with my clients, I am able to give them back their joy of life. And what I was also noticing in that context is how it makes sense when I look at my ancestral lineage, and I was able to trace that pattern of self-sabotage back to my paternal grandpa, who was possibly the one starting with this self-sabotage, because he was consciously, or maybe even unconsciously, punishing himself for having taken a life. And I feel very good when I can make this pattern come full circle now, by being able to give people their joy of life back, and
Right.
in that way making amends for people who came before me in my lineage. And it's also very dear to my heart to break this pattern.
Yeah.
So the people who come after me, my children, are not burdened by the self-sabotage, but can start their life with a clean slate.
Yeah, I love all things ancestrals. I work in the Akashic records. And
Mm-hmm.
so in the Akashic records, we do go back to the ancestors. And now
Yeah.
is a really big time for those of us here on planet Earth to heal so
Mm-hmm.
that our future generations can be relieved of these energies that we have been raised with, that we're raising the next groups with. And it's so much of it is subconscious, really. Like
Yeah.
the story with your grandfather going all the way back because of his guilt, because of his shame
Mm-hmm.
over what had happened. And I think that as we become more awakened in this current world, there are many of us that will understand that our behaviors, our beliefs, our actions are often just programming,
Yeah.
old programming. And I don't discount what our ancestors had to go through because it was a different time, it was a different place. There was safety, there was security, there was, starvation. Yes, we still have those things today, but not to the magnitude that a lot of our ancestors struggled just to put food on the table. I have Italian ancestors, that's my lineage, and they came from Italy on the boat, with nothing because they had no food there. They had no
Yeah.
prospects there. And so there was a lot of languaging in my family line over safety.
Mm-hmm.
And so we often would do things just to stay safe and
Yeah.
never fully developing. So maybe not in an abusive way, but in a stifling way, right? Not having the courage to do what each of us might want. That might be our real gifts to bring to the world because we were told to stay safe, you must do this or do this. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I love about your story is the acknowledgement is some of this wasn't even my stuff. Some of it
Yeah.
was stuff I had, but I picked it up from down the road. And so how were you able to first identify the origin, where that came from? How did you figure that out? How did that happen for you?
Figuring out, that is the thing. For the longest time I was in this figuring out mode, living completely in my headspace and trying to make decisions from there. And then
Oh yeah.
I noticed, like so many of us, this is not really working because the mind is not designed as a good decision maker, because when you are making a mental decision, you're second guessing it right away. And to break through this constant doubt, what I found is the really thing that is working is to drop down into my heart and womb and make decisions
Woo,
from there.
woo. Wait a minute. I'm going to give an applause because everything I do is heart centered now.
Yes.
And I love that. And this was not pre-rehearsed. I did not know that was going to be her answer. But
Yeah.
as I have aged, gotten to the other side of 50 by some years, I realize personally that when we go to our mind or externally for advice and validations,
Yeah.
it often is it's not what our soul wants. It doesn't always align with us. It may be good advice. It could be good suggestions, but without taking it internally and feeling into it and understanding why, um, a lot of us end up on paths or doing things that aren't in line. So knowing how to tune into your own heart, into your own soul,
Yeah.
to receive the messages that your soul wants to deliver is so huge. So bravo.
Yeah. So you were asking how did you find out that
Right.
it started with your paternal grandpa? And my answer to that is yes, I did do what I have learned that is working for me. I have turned within and sat in meditation, listening to guidance from my womb space. And in this process of listening within, that is the message that surfaced for me from my own depths.
That's intense. And so how do you personally, or how do you help your clients move forward from those? Um, what were your next steps after you got the information? What were your next steps?
You're asking how I can help my clients, and I would like to point out two main things here. The first being, it is really this shift of focus, because when someone is in this pattern of self-sabotage, one of the symptoms that the sabotage is showing up is this external looking for validation.
Mhm.
And that really never truly works to make somebody feel good.
It's
What
empty.
really
It
only
goes away.
works for this feel good sensation is turning inward and feeling worthy from this internal place. So this is very crucial to make this shift of focus from the external to the internal. And then there's two more shifts that are essential. The second one would be from denying things about me and repressing them because I might deem them as unlovable and therefore try to push them under the carpet. But it is really about embracing myself in my allness, including all those things that I might have deemed previously as unlovable, and really being in this place of 100% humanness. And then last but not least, when I'm in a pattern of self-sabotage, I'm constantly worrying about the future and ruminating about the past, but that again does not work very well for me. So I need to shift towards that space that I call being in my now power. So
Well, and
what
100.
was those three
Yeah,
shifts
I
that
just want to
I
talk,
wanted?
I was just going to jump in on that, because the only thing that we have control of is the present. You
Exactly.
can't change the past, and the future is yet to be here. So being in the now, in the present, is the only way to really fully embody the life that you want. 100%. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry, I was like, gotta say this one.
Yes, that
And
is so
especially
true,
around the
Dawn.
holidays, I want to talk about the present. You are the present when you're present. So
Yeah. So those are the three shifts of focus that I wanted to name as a big thing that I'm helping people when we work together. And then the other thing is when somebody is in a pattern of self-sabotage, they are often in this disempowered place of victim, and that needs to shift into the more empowered form of being a co-creator and reclaim agency, because in a victim place there is this I can't do that, and that can be turned around into an I can attitude, and to really be empowered to step forward into the life of your dreams with that agency that might have been given unconsciously away. And it's often so that you are in that disempowered state because there is so much unfelt fear in your energetic field. So I have actually used this word fear as an acronym, and I speak about how it can be seen as forget everything and run, or it can be interpreted as feel everything and rise. And this is
Oh, that's wonderful. So fear, feel everything and
feel
rise.
all and rise, feel everything and rise. And this is um, basically my main takeaway for the listener today, that it's really about feeling all emotions fully, because it's unfelt emotions in the subconscious that are holding people back from stepping forward towards their dream life. And the trick is to really attune to all those emotions that might be hidden under the surface, to let them
Lift the
bubble up
carpet, she's saying.
and
Lift the
to feel
carpet.
them fully.
Uh-huh. Yeah, actually do some spring cleaning.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
just that quick little wipe up that you do when you want to go out, right? Well, that's
Yeah.
very helpful. I think that the audience can get a few things to to kind of glean on from what you were saying. Some kind of thinking about where does this arise from? And you discovered it came from an ancestor long ago. And then the next part is, where am I getting my information? She was saying, no, don't go to your head so much. Go internal to your heart and womb. And then finding the empowerment with the fear acronym, but an empowered. And so any words, think about it, words, you can always have a flip side to them,
Mhm.
right? And so that's what Katya has done with that. She's given us the flip side to fear. Feel every, what's the A?
Feel everything and rise.
Feel everything and
Yeah,
rise. I missed the simple one.
yeah.
Feel
And
everything and rise.
you can do this with the so-called ACE method of healing, with the A standing for accessing your subconscious, and the C would be clearing what you find there, and then the E lastly stands for empowerment. And that's often shifting a limiting belief into a new belief that is more empowered. And this replacing is actually a crucial thing, because when I have cleared something, I need to fill up that space again. Because if I don't do that, then it's easy to fall back into unhealthy patterns. But when I fill this space with a new empowered belief, then it's easier
Mhm.
to stick with that.
I love that. That is so inspirational. So you have some steps, some acronyms to play with and to help inspire you. And I will have links to all of Katya's stuff in the bio, in the listing for this podcast. So if you want to check out her links and go see what she is offering. So we're coming to the end of our time. So I just want to thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure to have you. You have such a beautiful glow, her
Mm.
glow and her energy, and your message is very powerful. So thank you for sharing it with all of us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dawn, for this conversation. And it's really this journey to feeling safe in the body first, and that safety in my physicality opens the portal to um, the guidance of my womb wisdom. And that again allows me to step into empowered agency.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing your message and all of your information. And if anyone's looking to get in touch with Katya, just check out her links below. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.